Hello guys, welcome back onto the channel and into one more Drive Club online multiplayer video. And as I said in one of my latest videos, you're gonna be seeing a lot the LaFerrari in my races because this is one of the best all-arounders in the hypercar category. There's a guy driving the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. I said in one of the videos, in one of the last videos, that the Koenigsegg Agera was a beast, but I forgot about the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. That's a really quick car, but really difficult to drive, really difficult to master. And if this guy using this car is really good at driving this, then I stand no chance. I got involved into an accident. I didn't want to do that, but somehow I kind of went underneath the car, and the guy kind of flew for a couple seconds in there. This guy's driving the Rimac. It's a really quick electric car, but also it can be tricky to figure out the braking points in that car. You need to brake really early. The brakes in that car are not that good. And I think the level of quality of the players in this race in particular is really high. As you can see from pretty much most of the other videos that I've uploaded so far, and this guy misses his braking point, as I just said, and went flying straight into the wall. But anyways, as you can see in pretty much all the other videos that I've uploaded so far, I don't have a lot of trouble overtaking a bunch of guys right from the beginning of the race. But in this one in particular, I'm kind of struggling to keep up with the guys in front of me. And the first three places they are way ahead of me, and I think it goes to show that I'm racing against way better drivers, and that's not something I usually used to come across in this game. Pretty much most people that I kind of screw this guy up a little bit. I give him enough space, I go for a cutback, and I know this guy is faster than I am, so I'm not gonna worry too much about keeping my position because I know he's gonna get it back at some point. But yeah, there was a kind of a dirty move on my part. It wasn't intentional in any way, but I ended up kind of squeezing him up against the wall, which is something that I usually complain, and now you're seeing me do this even though it wasn't intentional. But anyways, this guy makes a mistake. He spins out, and we get the fourth place. The guy I think driving the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 is right on my tail. You can see that on the map. He's a little bit far, but in that car, that doesn't mean a lot. If I have a straight line here, I'm gonna lose. It's guaranteed that I'm gonna lose. There's this guy in front of me. Yeah, apparently he's driving a Koenigsegg 1-to-1 as well, and I'm not sure if I'm confusing things up, and maybe this is the guy that I kind of squeezed up against the wall. Maybe he is not. And as you can see, I cannot keep up with the Koenigsegg on a straight line. He pulls away. I make a mistake here. He also makes a mistake and kind of fishtails a little bit. I thought I was gonna lose even more time, waste more time, and this guy kind of got stuck into the wall. I don't know what happened in there. I kind of went flying straight into the wall, and this guy follows my line. And as you can see, I'm gonna be forced to finish backwards, otherwise it was gonna take me a lot longer for me to properly straighten out my car and finish it. So that was a really weird race in overall. I was racing against faster guys, and I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of things that made me look bad. And so I think the fifth place was well deserved. I didn't deserve to finish in first place after all. Moving on to the second race of the video, we're driving in perhaps Scotland. I always confuse Scotland for Canada and vice versa. I never know which one it is, but it looks like it's Scotland. And we're driving the Volkswagen Golf GTI, which I believe to be a car that we have used before. I went off the track a little bit, but thankfully I was not penalized by that. and this guy gives me space. That was really nice of him. I take the inside line, and that's gonna grant me the third position in the race. These guys are battling between themselves. That's gonna slow them down. As you could see, the guy in the Mini Cooper lose a lot of time, but I go a little bit too quick over that section and ended up going off the track and got a penalty as a result. This is a 3-lap race, so I'm not too worried about this beginning. I have plenty of time to make up for the time I lost over those couple corners. I don't know what happened with the Mini Cooper, if he was penalized. This guy or girl uh, gives me enough space to stay on my line rather than forcing me out of my line, which is something that happens a lot in this game. They go for the inside line. Fair enough. I was supposed to protect the line because that's the one you should take over the section, but I know that this is a wide corner, so if I take the late apex, I managed to kind of get out of the corner with a lot of speed, maybe just as much as someone who took the inside line. Of course, my car is faster than the Mini Cooper on a straight line, and they have the inside, so I go a little bit wider than usual to give them enough space, but I make contact with them as I was getting out of that corner, and it didn't work. My intention was to avoid collisions and give them enough space, but we ended up making contact as I was coming out of that corner anyways. And this corner is really tricky. If you don't if you don't properly angle your car, if you don't get the throttle right, it's gonna throw you off like it just did. It just sent me off the track without without notice. I couldn't tell that the car was gonna do that, so I didn't have time to react. And of course, I was gonna get a penalty. Then the morning has come, and as I've said many times, you're gonna hear me say that many times. Uh, I love the dynamic time of day and weather in this game. I made contact with the guy a little bit. I was a little bit too worried about not going off the track and losing speed, and I ended up ramming him off just a little bit. And we still have 1 lap left to go. We're about to cross the line into the last lap of the race. We're up in third place. There are still 2 guys in front of us. Both of them seem to be battling between themselves, and I hope that's gonna slow them down quite a bit, so that we can capitalize on that. This guy is gonna go for an inside line. Fair enough. I go a little bit slower than usual as to not make contact with them, and I think it paid off. I didn't screw him up. They make a little bit of contact, and there was an awesome overtake. He deserves a replay, so let's watch it again. I just managed to squeeze in between those 2 cars, and that was really awesome. It's not that often that I manage to pull things like that, and it's never planned, but when they do happen, it's awesome to watch it. And I kind of cut on the outside. This guy should have taken the inside. That was the best line for him. And I took the outside in order not to cut him and give him space, but somehow he wanted to take the outside line. Fair enough. And I won't blame him. He was sticking to his line, so perhaps I am the wrong one here. I wasn't supposed to go for an overtake over that section. But we're up in first place, and we're about to cross the line into the... actually, we're about to cross the line and win the race if all goes according to plan. My car has more top end than these Mini Coopers, so I think we have a little bit of an advantage here. And yeah, this is gonna be a first place finish. Not a clean one, I must say. I admit that that was a questionable move. I wasn't supposed to go for an overtake there, and that guy wasn't wrong. He was supposed to stay on his line. I kind of invaded his space and expected a clean overtake. Of course, that wasn't gonna happen anyway. But there was a fun race nonetheless. Moving on to the third and last race of the video. we're back in the McLaren P1. This is one of my favorite cars in this class. Of course, when I'm not using the LaFerrari is slightly better than this one, but this one has the advantage of having a boost that I'm using on the straight line to keep up with these guys. This guy is ghosting like crazy, probably a lag issue, and I think this guy in front of me is driving what seems to be a Rimac, the electric beast. I thought he cut the corner, but apparently that's safe in the game. I didn't know that at that point in the game. And this guy that's ghosting out like crazy is kind of freaking me out, because I don't know when his guy is gonna solidify in front of me, and I run the risk of ramming him really hard. I don't know how far or how close he actually is because of the lag. Yeah, I experienced a lot of lag in this game, but I don't know if that's an issue with my internet connection, or other people's connection, or the net code. I don't know. The other guy rammed me a little bit over there, but that didn't screw us up in any way, shape, or form. We're just fine, and we're still catching up to this guy, but we collided with him and we got penalized by a couple seconds. And I love when that happens. I love that when the game identifies when something's going on, even if it's unintentional. You should be penalized when you screw people up in any racing game, or at least most racing games. It depends on what type of racing game you want your game to be. But this guy makes a mistake. We managed to get up to the first place. I make a mistake as well. I'm not as consistent as I usually am over this race, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if I was nervous or anything. I really don't remember. But we're up in first place, but I need to keep an eye on these guys. I cut the corner just slightly, and that's a thing. Sometimes in this game, just like in Gran Turismo Sport, you are able to cut good chunks of the track and not get penalized. It's safe. But sometimes, even if you so much as deep 2 wheels off the track, it is enough for you to get a penalty. And this is a little bit inconsistent, but I'm not going to complain, because it serves to curb corner cutters. And I'm happy that I got a penalty in there, because I'm pretty sure that other people who would try to go for that intentionally would get a penalty over that section. Again, the guy was quick, but my car is more nimble around the corners, so I had an advantage over those slightly twisted sections, and I got up to the first place at the last minute. As you can see, he finished just a couple temps below me. So that was a decent result, kind of an intense race. This Rimac was a threat throughout the entire race, and I'm glad that I managed to get up to the first place at the end. But anyways, guys, that's been it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more Driveclub content, share the video with your friends and on your social media. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description down below or at the beginning of the video. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.